Hello, 2,586 subscribers. Over the past few years, we've built more than 30 AI automations for our clients. 50% of these automations were either A, standalone voice AI agents, or B, the agents with voice AI capability. I've personally done over 300 sales calls with different businesses from different industries, and I record each one of these meetings and go over them every month to see how I can improve my approach. I've noticed that I had a lot of clients that were interested in voice AI agents but didn't go to the next step, so something held them back. But here's the game changer. With the recent news from OpenAI that came out, I predict that selling voice AI agents will be probably one of the most underrated thing that you can do in 2025 and one of the most underrated services that you can offer to businesses. And I know for a fact that if I would have access to this update, I would convert probably 70 to 80% of the clients that I didn't convert because of multiple things. And I will show you exactly what the things are and how this update helped all of us to convert more clients. There are multiple use cases for the voice AI agents. Let's divide them by inbound and outbound. So for the inbound, obviously you have something like appointment settings, bookings, general info, like an agent that provides information about the company or the services, technical support, billing, account management, order tracking, if we're talking about e-commerce. So there are, or wholesalers, the people that sell physical goods. There are a lot, but we're not gonna talk about inbound, since what I noticed, selling the inbound agents is harder, especially if you are doing the cold outreach. Again, when you are like me, for example, recording videos or posting content online, people see your work and they come to you with a specific problem, like they are not able to handle as much leads as they would want to, the inbound leads, or they are missing on some opportunities like people calling out of office. So these are all the use cases for an inbound agents. We're not gonna talk about it right now because I think the leverage lays in the actual outbound offerings. For the outbound, we have, for example, follow-ups, reminders, and reactivation. So these are three categories. Again, there are more, but let's focus on them. For the follow-ups, so these are the things where they being the business have someone interested, for example, filling out the form or sending a message, sending the email, or doing some sort of a call to action on their online pages. And voice AI calls them to clarify the intent, maybe nurture or capture the information, and then transfer to the real human sales rep, or maybe converting the client right on the call, depending on the service. Reminders being the things when we are trying to say and ask the user to do something on the automated basis. Usually this is about, the use cases are about billing and meetings, so to increase the show up rate, or for the billings to let them know about the coming renewals or when their card were declined. And I will show you multiple conversations that I did with my prospects from my email inbox later on, that you can see what people are actually asking about and how billing might be only one thing that you can focus on in one specific industry that you will improve and be able to kind of build an agency and your offerings around it. Reactivation, I recorded multiple videos. One of them was deleted on how you can sell like database reactivation. I think you were aware of this. Essentially, this is kind of a way of bringing more money into the business without additional marketing spend. Obviously, they will be paying to you A, one timer for you to set up the system, or B, a commission. I think the commission-based pricing works the best, especially when you're starting out, and especially if you are working with a kind of cold outreach. I'm not a fan of it. I did probably, two things on the commission basis, two like solutions that we built. They were not around voice AI, and I don't really like them. Maybe that's just me. Plus, I do a lot of volume, so I have pretty good amount of leads, and I have the case studies, so my situation might be different from yours. I think the commission-based pricing on the reactivation is one of the most underrated things ever, because these are the leads that no one touches. And if you come to the business and say, hey, you don't need to pay me anything, we will sign the NDA, give me the leads, I'll build you the system, and everyone who I convert, or everyone who will pay for your services or the goods, which is kind of more advanced, or everyone who becomes interested and we book the call with a sales agent, you will pay as a commission. Something like a lead generation, right? So this is essentially like a lead generation offer, but based on the voice AI agents that work with the dead leads database. Anyways, so before we jump on the sales process, I will show you how it works currently in my agency and in general. I think, again, depending on the inbound or outbound, I want to show you my own dashboard where I manage all of the emails from the customers. All of the emails from my cold email campaigns come to one inbox, and this inbox is managed inside Front. This is the software. I actually have two accounts. This is the account that I usually use for the YouTube demo purposes. So I will show you 3 clients and the requests that I got from them. I will obviously blur most of the information since it's super sensitive, and last time YouTube kind of blocked my video because of it. Here is what customer says. Hey Eugene, we're rolling out a new update for our furniture offerings. Do you think the agent will be able to call our partners and offer them a new thing? We are building an automation for this client, and we never talked about voice AI capability, but he asked me if this thing, since we are when I was demoing our services a few months ago, when I was explaining what are the capabilities of using something like the AI agent, I was mentioning the voice AI things. And he asked specifically if this thing will be able to handle like the updating their partners on the new offerings. This is not obviously a database reactivation, but this can be considered like a reminder for the customer to upsell them something. Again, this is, for example, one use case. So I have another customer and she was asking, so let me find the message. So she was asking, for example, here about billing and renewals. So here's the message, how the AI is able to do the hands on the work computer, like the billing and renewals. I'm able to understand voice AI process, but cannot imagine how it can work in the computer. So she was not kind of on the same page as me because we didn't do the actual sales calls. This conversation was only through the email. And then I was actually showing her how it can work. She was planning to use some sort of an agent that can call the prospects with the billing updates. This is the insurance company, and she was not sure how AI can retrieve information from the CRM, call the prospect with the update, and then get some information back and then update the CRM. So this is what I was actually showing to her. Here's another customer. He was asking if the AI can ability to query my email and data and have it answer the question. So he was actually and still is looking for a solution where we can export all of the history of the emails to, let's say, third-party database, and then have it as a context for the AI to operate on. So then there will be like an agent, like a window, and they will be able to ask the agent questions about the email, right? But What's interesting here is that somewhere, somewhere in the thread, he mentioned that he was also looking for a way where AI can call the prospects that they need and update them on the information from the email. Again, so kind of complex use case. What I show you here is that customers are asking for the voice AI capabilities for different things that going on inside the business. Now, let's see how the current sales process works and how the recent, ChatGPT update, OpenAI real-time APIs comes in handy. Essentially, we have the inbound and outbound sales process, right? For the inbound, let's say you post a content on somewhere like YouTube, X, LinkedIn, or Instagram. I will record a separate video on like kind of the best channels to get the clients from, all these things. So I post on all of them. By the way, subscribe to my Instagram, second link in the description. First link in the description is my free resource hub. So all of the agents, automations that I built on either Make or VoiceFlow are available in my resource hub. It's here. It's free. You just put your email and it will send you the direct link to this database. So when it comes to the outbound traffic, obviously, usually it's the cold outreach. Cold outreach can be DMs, calls, or emails. We are using emails. Most of the people use emails, and I think DMs can work. Cold calling is the best option, but usually it's not an option for most of the guys, especially if you're not a native speaker. So it really doesn't matter. The process is kind of the same. So first, the prospect becomes interested. Like you are sending the outreach with an offer. Usually it must be personalized based on the company details. I have multiple videos on the cold outreach. If you guys want me to record like another video where I will go in depth into the cold email strategy for the AI agencies and selling like this, for example, specific offer, let me know in the comments and I will record it, probably like a next video, because I'm still looking for the ideas for new videos. When the prospect becomes interested, our next goal is to convince them to book a call. This is one of the hardest part, since usually you will kind of provide more generalized things. And this is how it works. And I will show you what you can do about it. So usually you send something like, hey, I noticed that you kind of do X, you're in this industry and we're like help like this client with this thing. Or you may be looking for something else, for something like this. They say yes. Obviously, if you will say, let's hop on the call, most of them will just ignore you. Or if you will just, you might say, oh, okay, so if I have the case studies, if you have the case studies, you can send them the case studies right away. This is what I was testing. Like, hey, we have, 10 plus case studies on the website. Here are, my YouTube channel with some of the things that I show in live, like our client builds. But also, this kind of not the best approach, because they don't really care yet about you as a provider. They care about them, and you need to explain how this specifically, like to provide more technical details. Again, I will go over, if you want, in a separate video on the actually, messaging in your cold outreach. But the idea is that you need to book the call. So you need to convince them that they need the service. Then when you are on the call, you're getting the information and pitching your general solution. Why I say you're pitching general solution? Because you don't have too much context from the business. So like usually in order to pitch them something exactly, depending on the business, obviously, depending on the thing that you sell, usually you would need some more information about their business processes to explain how exactly it can be automated or improved by the AI or automation. That's why, like on the first call, in the first minutes, if you start, asking all of these things, they might not be comfortable right away providing you all of the details. And they will probably say something like, okay, before, give me a few more ideas on what you do and how you can help. Because yes, you did have this conversation here where you was trying to convince them to book the call and provided some information, but from what I found, again, from 300 plus sales calls, a lot of them like don't remember it, and that's okay. They receive like hundreds of different emails, they talk to their team, they talk to their vendors, and they may not even like remember what exactly you were talking about, right? So at the moment they thought that it's interesting, they booked the call, that's it. Now they like forgot. So you need to, each time you go to the sales call, you need to have an understanding that they have no idea who you are. So you need to pitch your offerings and how you can help again before asking more information. Anyways, so your offering would be something like a free prototype, and free being, let's say, if you're a really good salesperson or if you're really confident in yourself, you can try. This is what I do, and this is what I was always trying to do, is to see the commitment from their side, so that they pay a few $100s for the prototype. You build a prototype without any commitments. Then the next thing, when let's say you offer the free prototype, especially if you are starting out, and again, depending on the use case, especially with the kind of the structure that I'm going to show you what you can do and what all of us will probably do in 2025, I think free prototype is worth the value, worth trying. It's not about the money, right? They do not really care to either get it for free or to pay $200. It's not about the money. It's like usually the amount is not big for the companies. It's more about the hustle, from their side. They just want to deal with like some sort of information. They don't understand yet, most of them, how it can be applied exactly, right? And you're asking already for the payment and they're not like super clear on either it's helpful or not. That's why you will, and we are losing a lot of clients because of it, right? I know that they can benefit from it, but since we are asking for the prototype like money, they are not comfortable yet. That's why I vary my approach based on the prospect. This is what I started to do. Obviously, this is not what I was doing in the beginning, and I regret it because I lost a lot of the clients. So right now, if I'm super confident that this is like a good company, they are interested, but we just need a little push. I'm offering them kind of not a prototype, but more like a demo with very, very little functionality, very limited, that will give them some more ideas on how it can be applied. But again, with the OpenAI real-time APIs, it's going to be much, much easier to do. Now, so if you are offering the free prototype, so let's simplify it, you will obviously need to make them show up for the prototype because they didn't show the commitment, right? So they might not, and this is what happened like multiple times with me. They said that, okay, so they want the prototype, we maybe signed the NDA, and then I was like begging for multiple months to show them the actual prototype that we did for them for free, right? Or there were cases where they just stopped replying to my messages and were not like replying to my like phone calls, okay? Or they were like, for example, there was like one time and like he picked up the phone, obviously, since I had like it was not like an office phone number in the signature. It was his direct phone number that he gave me on the sales call, and he like straight said, "Hey Eugene, I decided that it's not a good fit for us. That's it, and just ended the call." Well, okay, I guess. So when you make sure that they will show up, the next thing is to actually build the prototype and show and present it to them. And the next phase is make them like the prototype and convert them to the client. Okay, ask them, hey, do you like it? So let's actually start the development. You'll pay the deposit for, to start the process, and we will have like layers and stages for the development. We'll update you on every stage. Anyways, so this is whole another story about the development and the delivery process. So when we are talking about building the prototype, you're building the quick demo. Usually the demos, if we are talking about the voice AI, are done, in our case, on either like Vapi or Synthflow. We started to use more Synthflow for the sake of the prototype, because out of the box, it's a bit faster on the latency, but again, it doesn't really matter. And here is the why we are all here, okay? Latency. This is one of the biggest thing why businesses are not ready for the AI yet. And we'll discuss the problems, but essentially you will, there are some like really expensive right now softwares that lower down the latency by 100 milliseconds, but it's still somewhere in this range. Obviously this is with kind of 11 labs, so if you go to Vapi, you can play around with the providers, and you can see you can have lower latency, you can play around with like different models, and obviously you can. So if you go to I think 3.5 is the faster, with the something like Rhyme, you can get like 650, but it's very basic, right? And it's still not that fast as how we would and they would expect. Okay, and this is what was holding a lot of businesses back in my experience. So here are the problems that voice AI can face and you can face while selling these solutions to businesses. Human factor, latency, accuracy, and price. Human factor. It means that right now, especially in the US, businesses and like people receive a lot of AI calls already, right? And it just started. So I cannot even imagine what's going to happen in like a year, right? They do receive like phone calls from robots offering them some stuff. That's why when offering this thing to the business, usually like the owners or directors that you're going to talk to, they are aware of it and they maybe received it themselves. So the human factor of people being against, in general, voice AI things that call them all the time is very important. You need to keep it in mind. Latency, right? This is where you call the agent or agent calls you, and there is some sort of an input lag, like a delay, where either you ask the AI something and it pause, or AI analyze your response and give you a reply. So I will give you a very little demo so that you can actually see how it works. I was building this thing for my previous video. If you're my subscriber, you already know it. So here's one use case for the dead leads reactivation. So this is obviously the Vapi dashboard. Okay, so let's go back to, was it published already? No, so let me reload it. So here's the Airtable. In this Airtable, we have kind of like a database. Okay, guys, this is why I was blocked for the last video, so I will blur everything. Sorry. So it's generated by AI. This is just a template database, but still, whatever. Like it blocked me for some reason. So this is kind of the database, and it has the numbers. And let's say these are the dead leads. We have the make.com automation that will get the pending prospect from the Airtable and call the prospect using this AI agent. Again, go watch this video. I think the video, okay, it was deleted. Anyways, I will maybe re-upload it. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you want it. So this Airtable and this make.com automation, again, will be in my resource hub, so don't worry, as well as this Vapi prompt. It will be in the resource hub. So the idea of this prompt is that we are providing, like, assigning the role to the agent, and we are like giving the rules, and we are providing the reference information. As you can see, these are the variables. So when the agent the automation calls the prospect. As you can see, this is kind of the API request to the VAPI API. So we're using this agent essentially to call this prospect, but obviously through the API call, because we're not like able to automate it directly inside the VAPI dashboard. So in here, we have the API key, whatever, and here we are providing the variables, right? So when the AI will call the prospect, it will have a context about like the name, the phone, like the address, the service purchased, the sales rep that was handling this query, as well as the notes. Okay, so now when we start this automation, okay, when I start it, it will get this prospect. Okay, so it will get this okay, so no, it didn't get the prospect because it's completed. So let's actually change it to pending, as that's why, as you can see, there is no phone number. So that was an error. So if we restart it, we should receive a phone call right now. Okay, let's see.
Hi, Cynthia. This is Alice from Gateway Restoration. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How has everything been functioning with the filters and furnace since our last visit?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Glad to hear that. Would you be interested in a free in-person audit and 10%?
Yeah, guys. Okay, so as you can see, the delay is like huge. Okay, first, since this is a virtual phone, it's not a cell network, so it's slower, right? So and the Wi-Fi here is pretty bad. So in the real use case, it's gonna be probably like 30% faster, but still, it's not sharp. Okay, and this is where it comes interesting. Obviously, it is usable, and we did, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we did solve multiple database. I think it was like 3 database reactivation agents that were like the same speed and were operating from VAPI. But I know that if the latency would be lower, I would sell like 10. Okay, so I would convert a lot of clients because obviously I was kind of building them the prototype on this stage. And when they saw the latency, they decided, okay, so it's not there yet. And I was saying, hey, you know, it improves every week, every month. And they said, yeah, Eugene, we don't think that. Some of them were saying, we don't think that it's there yet. Some of them were just, you know, after the prototype, they, for some reason, decided that it's not the way to go. And they probably, you know, didn't like the pricing because we were charging like more than $5,000 for it. Not the performance basis. That's why you probably should do the performance basis. Okay. But the idea is that I know, again, if the latency would be lower, I would convert like more clients. And with this recent real-time API update, again, we're like still not sure. There are videos obviously on YouTube, and you probably watch them, where people are talking, like demoing this version. And it was kind of like available, but right now it's available through the APIs. They were demoing this version and it was like super sharp, right? So the delay was, from what I saw from the guys who were testing it, from like 200 to 300 milliseconds. Again, I think we would need to test a lot of different things. There will be like a lot of videos in the coming month, but it's 2, maybe 3 times faster than what we currently have on even like the best AI, voice AI platforms, right? So, and this is where, you know, human factor and the latency may be solved with this recent update when we start to use it, because human factor is very important, since most, again, depending on the industry, people might not like even know, with such a small latency, they might not even know that it's AI, especially like older generation. But also people right now, I think especially like in a few years, will not really care how they get the information, either like by AI, by human, by, you know, asking their mom or whatever. They just want their questions answered. And in the outbound field, you are not even like providing them support, right? So you are offering them something. And if it's interesting, they will like it, because usually the outbound agents, when it works with either like reactivation or the reminders or follow-ups, it will be like, hey, Cynthia, you have a meeting tomorrow with Josh. Just a reminder. That's it, right? So it's not the conversational thing. Obviously, you might say, okay, Eugene, so why would we then care about the OpenAI? Because if it's just one thing, so it can be done with the like bigger latency. Yes, guys, and this is what like we were doing. I'm not saying that it's impossible to sell it right now. I'm just saying that with the smaller latency, you have much more ways to use it and much like bigger chances of kind of selling this thing to the business. Because yes, you might convince them that the AI will not talk to the prospect, will just send the information and like cancel the call. But when like you will show the prototype, they will talk to the agents themselves and they will engage with it, even if their prospects won't. And if they see that the delay is too high, it might trigger like some additional thoughts in their mind and they will reconsider it. So I think these problems will be fixed with this kind of update. Okay, for the accuracy, this might be a problem for, again, the prospects, but right now it's pretty accurate, right? So you know, probably if you watch this video, you already watched some of the videos about the voice AI topic. Right now, if we are not talking about the latency, AI is like very sharp, understanding the intent and providing the information from third-party sources. If you want more in-depth conversations with like different flows, you can, for example, connect VAPI with a voice flow, right? So I show it on this video. This is kind of there are like better ways to do it right now. I'll probably record an update, or you can use something like a VAPI blocks, right? So they introduced the VAPI blocks where you can create multi-flow sequences where depending on the actions from the user, you go to like different flows. It's still in beta, but again, a few months and it's going to be up, I think. And the price is very important. It might seem like it's important. And for some people it is, but for me, I don't really care. In the Discord chats, I see a lot of talk that this is not applicable. Like, for example, this real-time API will not be applicable for most of the people because it's like pretty expensive. I'm not sure what's like the hour gonna be, but whatever. I don't really care about the prices because obviously we're passing the prices to the client, but like you would say, hey, Eugene, if you would charge your clients like $2,000, right? So they would care. So it would make a difference. And yes, for sure. But the thing is that if we are choosing about like paying like 2 times, even like 2 times more, even like 3 times more than they currently pay and having the lower latency, I know for a fact that having the lower latency will have, for the database reactivation, will have higher conversion rate. For the follow-ups and reminders, will have much better customer experience. And for the companies that use it, does it really matter how much they pay, like $200 or $600 or $500? It might be, but usually it's not. Maybe that's like the companies that I work with, like the bigger enterprises that have like multiple sales agents, maybe. But again, I like don't really think so. So obviously for most of the things, we will like not even consider the price and we'll just use the fastest model, okay? So, but there's one more thing, which is even more important than all of the things that we have discussed just yet. It's how you can build the actual things before hopping up on the sales call. So here's the deal. Right now, building the voice AI agent is very easy, right? So you can go to VAPI, you can go to Synflow, it's not open here. get the prompt, right? So you have this prompt again in my resource hub. So copy this prompt, paste it in ChatGPT, say, hey, please, like transform this prompt to this company. Like I have another client. It will transform the prompt, paste it here, say done, right? So it's like 5 minutes. But here's the problem. It's not there yet to, for example, call your prospect and offer your service for you. So the idea, this is what I'm thinking, like I'm thinking out loud. Probably this is what I'm going to test for sure. So imagine like this scenario, right? So when you are convincing the person to hop on the call with you. So what if AI, so like let's say you have the person's phone number. So depending on like, for example, where you scrape your list. So you might have like the phone number in the database for this prospect, or you might have the phone number on their signature, right? Or you might ask for the phone number. What if AI, so this prospect is interested, you spent like 5 minutes like analyzing the company, right? So that got interested, copying their details, pasting to ChatGPT, it will create the prompt for this company based on the company information. And this AI agent will call the prospect and say, hey, John, by the way, this is the AI. You got interested in our services. You reply to like Eugene's email. See, I am the AI. So do you want us to build you the same kind of AI that will call your prospects? Something like this. Okay, like I'm thinking out loud, but I think you got the idea. So imagine their faces. Guys, if you watch till the end, let me know in the comments. Like this is the sauce, okay? I probably needed to say it in the very beginning. This is kind of the most important thing in the video, but whatever. Like, so kudos to you if you watch till the end. This is your new sales strategy, okay? Cold outreach, person got interested. Then AI call this person, offer your services, essentially like demoing what you can do right away. There will be like more additional work involved, obviously, because like, you need to create an agent, but it's not a lot. And some of the prospects that got interested might not be even qualified. So for example, I send like 50,000 or whatever, like 30,000 emails per month right now, cold emails. So a lot of the prospects that get back to me are still like not qualified, even if they were in the prospect list. So they get interested, you visit their website, check, okay, so they can really use it. You get the information from the website, you create an agent, and you let the agent call the prospect. Obviously, maybe this is not the best use case. Maybe you will say, hey, I already built you the prototype, so do you want it to call? So what number can it call? Like this is your second email, right? And they'll, like in 80% of the cases, they'll send you the phone number, and then AI will call the phone number, right? And then imagine, okay, yeah, sure, like maybe they will not like it, but like if they like it and if they hop on the sales call with you, imagine like how easy it's gonna be to sell them like not even this thing, but even to sell them the prototype, right? So I still think you would need to kind of charge them and build like the prototype and be connected to your system partially and show them how it can interact with their backend and not only operate from the prompt. And you can say, hey, Eugene, yeah, cool, but why can't, like, we can do it right now, right? So this is what it can do right now. Yes. The problem, again, in the latency, because if you are not going to ask for the permission to call the prospect, they're not going to be mad. I don't think that, maybe some of them will, but they're not going to be mad. If the AI says that, hey, I'm calling from Eugene, company, whatever. So he will test the agent himself, like the prospect will test, and he will see the latency. And he might not like it, right? Obviously, as I said, on the actual like sales call, you might say, hey, it's gonna be slow, but you can convince them that that's okay, right? So, hey, we're building the outbound agent and it's gonna be, slow, but people don't really care since the only thing they care about is the first message in the offer. This is like the conviction process. But when they test it themselves, they will not think about it. So they need to be shocked by the results, right? And that's why I'm like still not using it. And the same way actually, guys, apply to the kind of the inbound thing, right? So for the inbound, people like for the general information and the sales, right? When the people are kind of interested, maybe yes. So right now, and this is what we haven't done yet, we haven't built the agent for the general purpose, like the agent that answers like questions and trying to convert the user to make like a sales call with the sales team, because it's not there yet. But if what we did is, I mentioned that like we built a few sales agents, voice AI agents. Some of them are outbound, and the ones that were inbound, they were doing and answering very specific things about billing. I said that the billing was kind of one of the main things in the outbound. Yeah, sure, but the billing can be also inbound when people call and say, hey, my card was declined, or when's my next payment, or I want to cancel, I want to switch the plan. And this is like, we actually built two solutions that were connected. One of them were connected to the QuickBooks and can update the information there. So, and for example, like the technical support, right? Or the account management, order tracking. So all these things where people call with some sort of an intent to get the information. Yes, they might not like super care about the latency because they ask the question, AI maybe ask the clarifying question, they get it back, and then provide the response. Again, they don't really care how they get it, if the information is accurate and it's helpful. But this, even like a few sentences and messages can like ruin the flow, and the latency might ruin the flow. This is what I noticed. That is why I think, guys, this update is a game changer for both kind of inbound and outbound agents, but especially for the outbound, and especially for the way how you sell these agents, right? So that you can remove this like conviction part and essentially go right from interested to kind of building the prototype. And here you kind of build the prototype on this stage and present it to the user, right? Okay, guys, I hope you found it helpful. Again, all links in the description to my resources, to my Instagram. Thanks for watching. Peace.